Well, hey guys, and welcome back. My name is Jessica Leichtweisz, and I'm the CEO of Hope Education Services. I've been working with kids with autism for over a decade, and I'm here to answer your questions about autism. A parent sent a question in saying, my child's having tantrums every time it's time to clean up the toys. What should I do? So here's my 3 best tips if you are struggling with getting your child to clean up. The first one is to give your child transitional warnings. Maybe use a timer, a visual timer if appropriate. I have a link to that down below. The reality of it is oftentimes when parents, tell a kid to clean up, their child's involved with something, they're engaged with something. You walk in, you're like, okay, time to clean up. And the kid's like, I'm not done, right? Well, they're upset because they didn't know. They didn't have time to prepare themselves. So giving a child a transitional warning, say, hey guys, we're gonna clean up in 5 minutes. Hey, we're gonna clean up in 2 minutes. You have 1 limit left. It's almost time to clean up. Making a timer so that timer goes up. We're gonna set the timer for 1 minute, have them set the timer. When the timer goes off, it's time to clean up. So they're prepared ahead of time so the transition is not so abrupt. Oftentimes it's the abruptness of transitions that's really hard for kids. The second thing that you wanna make sure that you do is you wanna praise them for doing a good job and potentially reward them for doing a good job. I mean, in reality is if you just kind of expect kids to listen and there's nothing in it for them, they're gonna have a much harder time with them. The third thing that I'm going to tell you is to make sure the child knows what's happening next. A lot of times, again, with the abruptness of transitions, we talked about the fear of transitions, that can be really hard. If kids don't know what's gonna happen, they're gonna be less likely to comply. Studies show, and just really from my experience, even if something's gonna happen the kid doesn't want to happen, like let's say bath time, and a kid doesn't like bath time, even if they know it's gonna happen, it's gonna make it a little easier than I'm just gonna clean up because why? Like what's gonna happen after that? Kids don't really know. And I promised you 3 tips, but I'm actually gonna give you 4th tips. The 4th thing I'm gonna say, make sure that the number 1, you never let your child take out so many toys that cleanup is extremely overwhelming. I mean, if the child's floor is just flooded with toys, there's boxes dumped over and trains dumped over and everything's a mess and books all over the floor, kids are going to be really, really overwhelmed and they're going to struggle to be able to clean up. They may not even know where to start. And that's when you're going to get a meltdown because they're having this overload and they don't know really what to do. So making sure things are organized, making sure that boxes are labeled if appropriate for a child, so they know, okay, the books go here, the trains go here, and make sure that they're cleaning one thing up at a time. And help them if you have to. Sometimes if kids are just like sitting there and staring and you're telling them to clean up and they're just sitting and staring and they're not doing it, it doesn't mean that they're being quote unquote bad or not listening. They just may genuinely not know where to start. So we take for granted sometimes that kids know how to do things or because it's easy for us, but it may not be easy for them. So make sure that you're understanding of that and make sure you're providing some sort of structure to make sure your child knows what to do when it's time to clean up the toys. So I hope that these 4 tips help. And I'm here to answer your questions. I love to get them. If you have a question, send them in. Check out my website, hopeeducationservices.com. You can type a question in right on the website. And also, I just want to let you know, we have a brand new book out at Hope Education Services. I tend to always hold it upside down for first, but this is an anthology I compiled. It has 12 stories of autistic adults who tell parents what it's like to live with autism and what they wish their parents knew when their child was their age or they were your child's age. So check that out on Amazon. It's available now. This is Autism. I look forward to seeing you on next video and hearing from you to get your questions answered.